Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and better late than never, we've got a whole bunch of leaks and spoilers and loilers and spleeks, and I don't even know anymore. One of these is from Time Spiral, which you're probably thinking, haha, funny time travel joke. Time Spiral already came out, so it can't be a spoiler. Sometime in 2021, fairly early on actually, I think if I recall, probably spring or summer, we're gonna see Time Spiral Remastered. Why did we need that? Why did anybody ask for that? I got nothing for you. I do think it was kind of a neat set, but I didn't play when it was, legal because I wasn't playing Magic then. It was, boy, a long time ago. It had to have been, well over 10 years. But the first time I saw the cool, like the idea of it, the time-shifted cards minus the look of them, just the concept of them, I'm like, that's really neat. Kind of like a little bit of a fourth wall break, but it makes sense when you're involving time travel that you kind of go kind of meta in the game. I think they just knocked that one out of the park, and people told me it was a really cool set. So, I mean, okay, bring the bus back around again so the rest of us who didn't play back then could experience it. That's kind of cool. I doubt it'll be on Arena, though, which is a slight problem. But you know what? I've been hyping it up. Let's throw it out there. It's Lotus Bloom, which is, of course, an existing card. It is, Time Spiral Remastered. And the whole suspend while it, comes out of chronostasis or something. I don't really know the lore that much. Something about time. It had suspend and something about time. That was the thing in Time Spiral. So you would either cast something, I think, for its normal cost, or you could suspend it, or some of them were suspend only, if I recall correctly. It's been a while. So I guess you could get it for free, but you had to wait for it to phase in or something. I think that was what they were going for. So, I mean, this was in Modern Masters 1. We have seen this. It was, of course, in the mystery booster on the list, because everything was. But the original Time Spiral version of this and Lotus Bloom are $9 and $8 only. Did I just say and Lotus Bloom? And the Modern Masters version. So you'll be thinking, this is literally Black Lotus with Suspend 3. Yeah, but 3 turns is a long time, and apparently $8 is not a lot of money. Those go hand in hand. And then you look at Jeweled Lotus, which is just Commander Black Lotus, and it's freaking, $100? Probably not now. It's probably $50 now. But, it's just suspend 3, so if you're not familiar, rather than cast this card from your hand, pay 0, and exile it with 3 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When the last is removed, cast it without paying its mana cost. And they said cast, so I think it can actually still be counterspelled at that point, which is interesting, because your opponent has, turns within S to see it coming. So if they're going to counterspell it, they're going to leave that mana open. Which is a bit of a weakness, but you can take 5 cards from your hand and be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I'm sure not all suspends were 0. I don't know. I'd have to check. Like I said, it's been a while. But just say, okay, now we play the waiting game and I didn't have to pay for any of them. But the problem is, logically, if you're running that kind of deck, then why would you need the 3 mana that this generates? But still, I mean, people play this card in something. I mean, I've seen it. Now, the cool thing is they do have the, it's foil indicator on it. That's cool. It's new artwork. It looks way, way worse than the original artwork. I mean, it kind of looks like an alpha or beta card, and I thought, I bet that's what they're going for. Then I looked at the original artwork from Time Spiral, and I'm like, whoa, that looks way better. So that kind of sucks, but for those of you who like the old style, this looks really old style Magic. So I could see people saying that this is the better version. Now here's something really interesting. We knew as of about probably 6 months ago, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood, that Time Spiral Remastered was coming out in 2021. They announced this, so we've known about it for a while. On the bottom of that card, you can just barely make it out. It says, copyright 2020 Wizards of the Coast. Okay, what? So this product, they intended it to come out in 2020 and they pushed it back. Why did they do that? Did they realize that nobody wants a Time Spiral Remastered and it's not going to sell very well unless they cram artificial money into it and create new cards and turn it into a Legend set? Or Horizon set, whatever. There's no consistent naming. And then they brought back the latest Masters set in its place? I suspect yes. In fact, I strongly suspect yes. Or wait, was it even a Masters set that came out? I mean, let's cut the crap. It was a Masters set, but there was Commander Legends, and then, you know what? Who cares? I legit can't think of the name for it, and I don't care. But anyway, this is one of the cards. If they're just like, ooh, Lotus, it has the word Lotus. Everybody get hyped for Lotus. Ooh, look, it's new, but it has the old frame. Whoa. And then we look and it's an $8 card. Right now in the market, it's an $8 card. When they reprint this, it's going to be a $4 card. Yeah, that hype train is just chugging out of the station at 3 whole miles an hour. You can't just see the word Lotus and get excited, guys. You got to look it up. I think there's other garbage Lotuses out there too, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, Gilded Lotus is $4.50. Oh boy. Nyx Lotus is about $5. Where's Lotus Petal? That one's got to be on the list somewhere. I think that's not worth that much either. Lotus Field is about $8. There it is. Lotus Petal, $12. Wow. Yeah, there's really only 2 good Lotuses that I know of. It's not even in the majority at this point. I mean, Mox Lotus from Unhinged is $15. That's like a joke card. As is Blacker Lotus. I love that one. It's from Unglued, $22 right now. Tap it, tear Blacker Lotus into pieces, add 4 mana of any one color, remove the pieces from the game. That is just, that's so cold. Anyway, that's the big hype train. Oh boy, now let's move on to the ones you kind of care more about. Kaldheim spoiler/leaks. A lot of people got these cards in hand for some reason. At least one of them's claiming they pulled it out of a Commander Legends booster, which I still think is absolutely impossible. Unless Wizards did it on purpose, then it's very possible. But as an accident at the printing facility, that's just not how these things are printed. That's ridiculous. So this is Resplendent Marshal, pretty spicy mythic here. It's a 3/3 for 3 double devotion angel, which is huge. Flying when it enters battlefield or dies, so both. You get a little twofer there. You may exile another creature from your graveyard. When you do, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control other than Resplendent Marshal that shares a creature type with the exiled card. So obviously intended for an Angels deck. Obviously people are going to run it in more than just that. I mean, if you were running like, I'd say Elf Tribal, but what the hell are you doing with white? But let's just use it as an example. Would I still run this? Yeah, I would. I mean, it's a 3/3 flyer for 3. That's solid. And then when an elf dies, you bring, or when this enters the battlefield and when it dies, you get 2, you can exile an elf out of your graveyard and then put a counter on every single elf. And if they don't kill this, you get to bash them in the head for 3 in the air. Which in an elf ball deck, I mean, everything that enters the battlefield should be like an 8/8. I mean, I freaking hate that deck. Terrible example, but in the power level of Standard, would I run this in a tribal where the tribal isn't Warriors and Angels? Probably. But clearly this card was intended for that. So I think it's going to be pretty nuts in an Angel deck, and this is going to be pretty early too. But a lot of the Angels just in general in the game tend to cost more. I think they're going, downwards of 3 now. I think there was like 1 Angel in the game that cost 1 or 2 or something like that, and that was like a whole thing. Like they did that on purpose, and Mark had a lot to say about that. So the fact that Angels aren't cheap is actually like kind of an unwritten rule. So like, when this enters battlefield, what's in the graveyard? You'd almost have to be running self-mill or be versing rogues. When does that ever happen? So I did find that weird, but then also like what else is in play? So the fact that this costs 3 when you'd want it to come out a lot later, it's like you'd almost not want to run 4 of these in your deck, except that, it's a 3/3 for 3 flying angels. So like if you're running Angel Tribal, you would want to run it. So I guess the late game value is the ETB and the early game value is the death trigger, potentially. And I mean, this is one of the cases where I could see this not being legendary. It kind of makes sense. Having 2 of these in play isn't like the end of the world because you still, if they killed both of them, wow, what do you have left? Why did they target these? That wasn't smart, In fact, I'd start dropping ores and equipment on these things just because people aren't going to want to kill them. So, I mean, it's interesting. I think it's just generally a good card. It's always nice to see Angels that don't cost like 6, so you can actually play them. Next up, speaking of that, we got Righteous Valkyrie. It's an Angel Cleric, 2/4 for 3, which is really nice. More 3-cost Angels, yay. And it's flying. Whenever another Angel or Cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. That's insane. And then as long as you have at least 7 life more than your starting life total, which you'll have on like turn 3, creatures you control get +2/+2. Not Angels, not Clerics, creatures. Okay, this card right here is the end of the game. We've already got that stupid Mythic Angel thing where it just hits you once, goes to like 35 life or whatever, wins the game instantly. I'm sick of that stupid thing. You're sick of that stupid thing. Now it's got backup and now it's got this. This is ridiculous. I mean, Heliod, in fact, before Heliod, I mean, going back to what? Amonkhet or something, weaponized life gain was like the most powerful deck in the world. Although back then it was like probably it was a very tier 2, very 3rd, 4th place at best. But then I want to say Ixalan with the vampires. I think that's when it started, and it never stopped. And then in fact it dropped from white-black to you could just run mono-white and just win the game. Then Heliod showed up and it all just went to hell. So yeah, life gain is way too good, and this card is pushing it way over the edge. Like if I just saw this card, I'd be like, okay, that is an exceptionally, insanely amazing card. Cool, great, can't wait to play it. Maybe they went too far. But then looking at this in the context of the current Standard meta, they've gone too far. they're going to have to ban something. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if they banned Heliod. I think he's the problem. Also, that stupid old angel. But you know that, they don't ban anything from the newest sets. They ban stuff from the oldest sets because then they've already sold the cards. You know what I mean? But in the new set, they want to sell Angel Tribal. Why would they ban the most powerful angel then? The one that turns everybody into like life gain and stops all damage. You know what it does. I don't even remember the name of the damn thing. Way too disgusted with it to look at it again and enough to like look it up and show it on screen. But you know what I'm talking about. And 7 life above your starting total. I mean, that's just disgusting. Plus you get this plus like the other couple cards that work that way, like the Angel Generator, which my God, invest in that card. The 1-drop with lifelink. They're both setting you up to get just destroyed by Red Rush, just obliterated. Because you're not going to easily be 7 life above your starting life total. That's just not going to happen. You'll get hit too fast. Last thing we need is another deck that'll be tier 1 but loses to Red Rush. That is the absolute dead-ass last thing that we need. So this is going to be highly detrimental to the standard meta. They're going to have to do something about it, but I think they're just like, standard is an absolute circus until 2023, screw it. I think they're just like, hands off. I mean, the fact that they haven't even discussed having a ban announcement or discussed anything about it, all the staff's hush-hush. In like the last 2 months, and we're not leading up to any kind of rotation. There's nothing coming. We're just getting new set after new set after new set. I think they know that standard is irreparable right now, and they're just going to pour gasoline on it because they approved the set probably over a year ago, and they approved it at the higher power level that they all thought was their clever little cash grab. And it backfired so spectacularly, it probably cost them 50 million losses at least, and people permanently leaving the game. So you flew too close to the sun on that, Wizards. Good job. Fire your CEO. The rumor is it was his idea. So anyway, moving on from this disaster, which, I mean, we all knew standard was going to be playable. It's not playable now. What the hell would adding cards do to that? You add cards to a dumpster fire, it just flares up bigger. So next up, we got Rune Forged Champion, and it's nice to see runes do something in the lore, because runes are big in, Norse mythology. The Norwegians, and I think like the Wales people, the Welsh... It's not Wales people. Wales people spend too much money on microtransactions. It's the Welsh. I'm proud of that joke, and I'm leaving it in. Try and stop me. So anyway, Rune Forged Champion. Can't wait to see what the runes are. I bet we're going to get 5 runes. I bet you. Or one good rune that's 5 color. I bet you we're going to see like a rotation of them. Or a cycle. I don't know. I'm so checked out today. I'm not thinking clearly. Bad time to review the cards, but I'm so disconnected from standard anyway, I could care less. It's just like sitting there with popcorn watching, a train crash on the news. I am interested right now just with the cards we've seen at the draft environment, because actually it looks like it's going to be really interesting. Like, you could reasonably get something going, and a lot of the good cards look like they might not necessarily be in the rare or mythic slot. So I'm kind of amped for this. Like, compared to Rick's right now, which is on Arena for the premium draft, which was one of the worst draft sets I've ever seen in my life, I just want to draft some stuff. I went from hating draft to being kind of into it now. So, when something new comes out, I get a little excited, How draftable is it, So that's my angle on this, and if something looks hot enough that I could buy it and resell it, I'm just saying. So yeah, Dwarf Warrior, 2 3 for 3, cool. Looks like the dwarves are going to have warriors. The Vikings are going to have warriors, or the dwarves are the Vikings, and who knows? None of this stuff was supposed to be out anyway. It's not supposed to make sense yet. But yeah, warrior tribal, going to be huge. So if you see some cheap, underappreciated warriors right now for 25 cents, maybe drop a tenner on them. Just saying. If you want to get ahead of the curve, make a little money. I don't like, what they call it, RuneScape, merching. Middlemanning. But if you take your knowledge of the game and your projection of the meta and make a really good guess for like $10 and make $50 profit on it, good on you. Like, that's small scale enough that you aren't really affecting stuff. You're just being smart, I'd make a list of recommendations, but then you get the what is it, the Mad Money guy or whatever. You get the problem they have where whenever they recommend something, it skyrockets just because they recommended it, and then people accuse you of doing that, and I just don't even want to get into that scene. But anyway, yeah, Runeforged Champion enters battlefield, and you may search your library and or graveyard for a rune card. Ooh, I actually legitimately said all that stuff about runes without reading a word on this card yet. I feel smart now. Reveal it and put it in your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. So library or graveyard, which means that it's probably like a tap and sack thing, maybe. So it might not be like this amazing game ending, Aetherworks Marvel or something, or, like Godsend. Or maybe it is a target. I mean, just saying. But yeah, you can go grab it out of your graveyard, which is kind of cool. It might just be a subtype. It might be, 50 different cards. Who knows? It could be like all the artifacts. I don't know. But yeah, you may pay 1, by the way, rather than pay the mana cost for rune spells you cast. That could be huge. I'd have to see them. But I mean, it's not pay 1 less. It's pay 1, literally 1. So I mean, they can't be that good. They can't be like a 9-cost game ending, what was that thing they went for in Ixalan? That big artifact thing that was really obnoxious. Yeah, I don't think it'll be that. I don't think you'll just be, I have a dwarf, so I'm dropping it in for 1. And also if you kill it, I'll just, cast another one of these and go dust it off, get it out of the graveyard, now I got to deal with it again. Oh yeah, the Immortal Sun. Yeah, I don't think they'll be on par with that. I think it'll just be something kind of nice, something kind of unique, maybe something that spits out little I'd say Aether Geodes, but that's already been done. But yeah, maybe like little mana storage things with little rampers. I'd like to see like a one and done equipment boost where it like auto dequips or whatever the term would be at the end of turn or something. That'd be kind of neat. I don't know. I could speculate all day about what rune cards are, but let's move on. We got Sigrid, God Favored, another human warrior, but not an angel cleric. Okay. I got that huge devotion, dude. It's like they know people are going to play Heliod. I mean, come on. These cards are going to take a kick square to the balls when Heliod rotates out, but, or devotion in general, but let's be honest, white devotion is Heliod. 2/2 for 3. Okay. Legendary creature, human warrior. Okay. With flash. Nice. First strike, even nicer. Protection from god creatures. Good. It's about time. And, when Sigrid, God Favored, enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target attacking or blocking creature until Sigrid leaves the battlefield. Nice. So you swung, they blocked, boom, flash her in for 3 and remove a blocking creature, or they're coming at you, flash her in, kill one with first strike, exile the other one. I mean, an exiler that only costs 3, that also has protection from gods and first strike. So, I mean, that's a double kill without being too powerful. I mean, look at the card. It's just a 2/2 with first strike and pro gods for 3. Like, that's it. And it's a glorified kill spell for 3 mana that you get a little residual off of. It's pushing the power level just enough to be interesting, unique, and very like a big tactical splash when it enters battlefield without your opponent just groaning and going, I guess the game's over. Like when they cast, Rune Crab or Hedron Crab or what is the same damn creature. Teferi's Tutelage, how Immortal Sun, drop that and you're just like, well, I guess the game's over then. Great, thanks, screw you. This is just like, oh, okay, clever tactic. That set me back a ways. That evened things out, which, you got to have some back and forth in a Magic game. It's not just, oh, look what I ramped into on turn 4. Haha, 6 cost, screw you, I win. Getting real sick of that crap. Next up, we got Battle Mammoth. And remember, if you kill it, it still only counts for 1. Lord of the Rings reference. So this is another mythic, and I gotta say, these mythics aren't really lining up that good so far. I mean, they're interesting, but that's cool. Lower power level, I'm all for that. Let's see what this one is, though. I haven't read this yet. I haven't read any of these. It's a 5 cost, 6/5 with trample, because green needed another one of those, but I mean, it's what green does, whatever. Whenever a permanent you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Okay, yeah, because green needed more card draw. That's the one thing they needed. I swear to God, not even kidding, green has more recurring, free, consistent, like, you can count on it card draw than the color blue in its entirety right now in Standard. It is that out of control, and now this isn't a 4 or greater card. I mean, it is literally a 4 or greater card, but it's not one of those, oh, ETB, is it 4 or greater? Draw a card. Oh, do you control something in your upkeep 4 or greater? Draw a card. Those 2 cards need to be banned immediately. Then we got the Great Henge, which is already completely out of control. That needs to be banned. And now we've got, I want to start removing some of your green creatures here. Have some more cards to replace them. The deck's unbeatable. It is completely unbeatable, especially in draw. I mean, not many people are playing it in the Standard meta right now, just mono green. It's not unheard of, but it's a lot easier to pull off in Brawl. This just broke it. It's over with this in there. I mean, this is ridiculous. So then we got Foretell, whatever the hell this is. So for 4, during your turn, you may pay 2. Wait, why 2? And exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its Foretell cost. Oh, that's stupid. So that's like split the difference, suspend, kind of. Well, I gotta say, the math doesn't add up on this one. I mean, I always tell people, okay, so because you start the game with 7 cards, the distance between 5 and 6 mana is 1, but that's a greater distance than between 3 and 4, because you can get to 3 pretty reliably when you start the game with 7 cards. So hopefully that made sense to you mathematically. But it's harder to get mana availability from 5 to 6 than it is from 3 to 4, and that goes for 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, all the way up until you can't play it without ramp anyways, and then it all collapses. So to say I'm going to pay 2 now and then 4 later when the damn spell costs 5, I mean, you're only saving 1, except you're not because you're overpaying by 2. I mean, then your opponents see it coming and it says cast it on a later turn. Well, they know it's coming. They effectively know it's, in your hand because it isn't. Although it does say face down though. So they know something is coming, they just don't know what. And I think foretell may universally be 2 then. Otherwise you'd be able to match it up pretty easy. Like, oh, how much did you just pay? Oh, 3? Oh, that must not be Battle Mammoth. Now you only really have to wait 1 turn. I mean, it says cast it on a later turn, so any later turn, but not the same turn. So that's actually like not a long time to wait. So if you're just like mana screwed, you're like, fine, I'll just get this next turn. I'll just wait a turn. Hopefully I'm not dead. It gives you an option where it's very like if you need it right now because you're losing the game, okay, let's do the next best thing. It at least gives you an option. But I feel like using it as a desperate measure because you're mana screwed, like not only would that not happen very often, but I feel like that's a really boring, weird way to handle this mechanic, and they're not going to aggressively lower the cost. And getting stuff that's way too big, way too early, just because you paid more and split your turns, I mean, that's not unheard of in the game. I've seen stuff like that quite a bit, but it can be very broken, extremely broken. Like I said, you can do this during your end step, wait for their turn, boom, your next main phase, it's out. So you are definitely not waiting long for it, which is actually really annoying. I feel like that's actually too soon, but then again, suspend is commonly a couple turns, usually like 3. So that, like, you might as well not even play the damn card. Once they settled on suspend for Time Spiral, they actually worked on a couple ways to remove time counters from the permanent so you could get it earlier, because it was too damn long, But this feels too short, so I feel like it almost should have been 2, but then if they make it 2 week, nobody plays it. So I just don't like the design of this. I like the idea of it where it's kind of like a desperate measure and gives you an out in case of emergency. But like I said, I don't think people are going to play it that way. I think they're just going to be like, haha, I've got a 6/5 a turn earlier than I would normally with less mana than I would normally need because foretell, yay. And you know they're going to stack crap on top of this. Whenever you cast a spell for its foretell cost, do this. For every card that's sitting in exile from foretell, do this. Whenever a foretell ability resolves, do this. Just like cycling. And that's going to just be annoying. So I really just don't like that. Let's move on to the next one. Dragonkin Berserker. It's a 2-cost 2/2 human Berserker. We already knew about that. First strike, neat. Boast abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate for each dragon you control. Okay, I totally forgot what Boast is. We've already seen it. Oh, hey, there you go. Boast 5. Create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. Activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. Oh, so you're like, not only am I brave enough to attack, but I mean, an ability that you can light off whenever you want, it gets really annoying, and if you never have to swing at them, it's basically an artifact or enchantment. You can still get it with a creature kill spell, but nobody can ambush it, nobody can boost into it, nobody can triple block it, nobody can hit it with a death toucher, so it's, it's annoying to have a creature with an ability that's just that reliable. This one, with Boast, you have to attack. So anytime you attack, you risk losing that creature. You never know what's going to happen. And it's only a 2/2 with first strike, so you almost could just write it off and just be like, it's a Berserker. I'm going to send it. If it dies, it dies. That's what Berserkers do. They just basically suicide attack or just carelessly attack and hope they live through it. And also I have 5 mana, so I'm going to get a 5/5 dragon out of it. So I think this will be a pretty spicy card for non-blitz decks, because this does have first strike, doesn't actually have haste. But nobody's playing red mid-range right now. I mean, not that I've seen. Maybe this will bring it back, who knows. It is a damn powerful card. But I like Boast. It's risk and reward. And then the other thing is maybe they could back it up with, Sure Strike or something. So it says, activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn, not while it's attacking, not in response to it attacking, and only once each turn. So no speed. You could do it during your end step, I guess. But if you swung and they're like, actually, I grant this indestructibility and death touch, you could say, okay, I'll, cast this spell that bounces it back to hand. Cast this that removes it from combat. You burn your mana on that, you can no longer use Boast. Oh well. The thing is, though, if it dies in combat, you need to, before combat even resolves, use the Boast ability. So you better have that mana available, otherwise you can't do it after it already died in combat. So it really is a big risk, really is a big reward. I like that. I like giving cards value later in the game. But then you get to play them earlier because nobody likes starting a game with a 5 cost or a 6 cost in their hand. It's a dead card for like 10 turns. That's just a death sentence. So that's why I like, like overload and, just pay more, get more effects. And this is like the definition of pay more or get more with like risk reward on it. And then it comes down to the wisdom of the player and the skill of the player. Should I swing? What could they do? What could happen? What happened last game? What do people who play these first 5 cards usually also have in their deck? And you can use that skill and that knowledge and that experience as a good player to make a proper decision and possibly win the game because of it. Instead of just, look what card I drew. Look what deck I copied off the internet. I win because of it. That's boring, stupid, and has nothing to do with skill. I prefer skill, experience, and knowledge and strategy heavier games because then it's up to me, the player, not random luck, not, pay to win crap. So Boast is really going in the right direction. So unless it turns out to be horribly, horrifically, unbelievably broken, I love it. Hopefully people play it. Hopefully it takes off. I love everything about it. It's a very, very well-designed mechanic. As far as game balance goes, I don't know about like fun strategy or power level. I'm just saying, game balance, it's really good. So that is it. A lot to talk about, a lot to look into. I wish Wizards would just come out and say, yeah, some of these accidentally went out. We told our printing company to stop doing that. Because right now it looks like their fault or them just outright lying to us and they seeded the packs and this is on purpose and it's all a marketing stunt. I mean, when people have no information, they assume the worst, and Wizards does not understand that. Once ever, well, actually twice, if you go back to 2006, I think, they commented on a leak or on an ongoing legal thing by saying, hey, this sheet was stolen from the printing facility. The person was caught. They have been, litigated against. They even said we don't normally, comment on leaks or security breaches, IP theft, any of that crap. We just don't as a company policy. And I kept thinking, why? And I think they even gave a couple reasons why. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But on the other hand, when you give no information, there's a void of information. People assume the worst. They make up absolute batshit crazy conspiracy theories about what happened, and they assume the absolute worst because logically your company has been capable of the absolute worst for the last 26 years. It's not even guessing. It's not even sensationalism. It's called extrapolating based on past results. Based on past actions of the company, I'm going to assume the worst. I'm going to assume that they were incompetent, that this was all a disastrous mistake. I mean, if they just come out and say this was a theft and we're investigating it, don't do this, we'll investigate you too. These people are going to jail plus civil fines. Their lives are over. Hey, keep that in mind next time you want to throw these up on the internet. Like, how much good would that do to the community if they would finally just do that? Right now, I'm on team they leaked it on purpose and they think we're all idiots. You look on any kind of social, online, anything, Reddit, any of that, every single comment is basically, well, they leaked these on purpose. Every damn time there's a card leak, they're like, I bet Mark Rosewater pulled out his cell phone and took a picture of this, leaked it online under some sock puppet account. You know why they say that? Because once we had hard evidence of that. Legit, it was so staged, it covered up stuff that they wouldn't want us to know yet, and people said, that looks an awful lot like the exact same unique texture that's on the thing in their lobby, like the little table in their lobby. People are showing pictures left, right, matched up perfectly. So Wizards has faked leaks before and done them themselves. As far as we know, that's let's just say that's what the evidence strongly implied. So that's why everybody's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, and you aren't going to. So everybody's just like, yeah, Wizards did this on purpose. Yeah, Wizards stuck them into the Commander Legends boxes on purpose, or they seeded them, or they told somebody to pretend that's happened, what happened, sent it to a friend of a friend. Because leaks are like, ooh, leaks, we're not supposed to see these yet. Ooh, and they get more coverage, I guess. I don't know. People get pretty hyped for spoiler season too. And what a coincidence, they're coming out at the same time that the actual spoilers were. I don't know. It's when it comes down to incompetence or Wizards trying to lie to all of us and fake like this was an accident. Do you like either of those two options? I don't. So if it's a third option, that's what I'm saying. Wizards better come out and say, hey, this is what really happened, and then follow it with a huge chilling effect warning so that nobody dares to do this again. If these were stolen or something from a printing facility again, or some game store opened them up, or some Australian game store specifically live streamed some that they got their hands on too early, call them out by name, put their first and last name, put their mugshot up there, put the court filing, the criminal charges, like dox the shit out of them. It's all public record. Just say, this is the person that did it. This is what's happening to them. You guys do the same in the future, this is what'll happen to you. You're going to jail and we're going to fine you $10,000 in court. It's not really fining, we're going to sue you for damages. So this snarky little, ooh, stick it to wizards, ooh, I'm an edgelord edgy boy, you know, I'm going to leak these ahead of time, ooh, look at me, I'm so sneaky, I'm so great. And then, haha, you're going to jail for a year, plus probation, plus you're fired, plus you owe them, you know, this amount in damages, plus you burned $50K on legal fees. Oh, do you feel like an edgelord snarky boy now? If they wanted to stop leaks, they would make an example out of these people each and every single time. Even if they don't catch the person, say, we have got an entire investigation team, because they do. This is true. They've mentioned them before. And they are looking into this, and we've already got some leads. We are going to find you. We're going to hunt you down like an animal. Like, I would literally put that in the press release. How many leaks do you think will go out after that? The answer ain't zero, but it's sure as hell less than we get now. I mean, even that Australian place, I think they apologized and they still can't sell Wizards of the Coast products for like a year or something. They got kicked out of the program. That's like a bankruptcy sentence. That's pretty harsh, but also pretty lenient from what I heard from some people. So why not do that every time, Wizards? Because right now everybody's assuming you're idiots. You're incompetent morons again and let this shit leak again. But then again, this is like the fourth independent separate leak from just this set. The Kaldheim has been the most leaked set I've ever seen, except, I mean, they've leaked entire sets before in their entirety, so I don't know if you could call that worse. I mean, just multiple leaks from multiple sources I'd call worse. So yeah, what do you think of the new cards? What do you think? Is it going to be good for draft? Do you think it's going to be the end of the game? Do you think White Life King's going to be out of control? I mean, the correct answer to that is yes. Are you excited about, what was that, Boast? Let me know any of your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait for more leaks and spoilers. And I think at the end of the week, we're getting actual spoilers. So, yeah, it should be interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.